What's up? What's up? It's your boy RJ, the quarterback. Welcome to another episode of Conversations with the Quarterback. And I am the quarterback, RJ. Hey, this morning, um, kind of been thinking about where we're going, where we're moving towards the next couple of months. I've been pushing everybody to keep moving, keep growing, despite everything you have seen or heard. So this morning, I wanted to do, I'm going to say a title, but if you need a title, and hope in the middle of the storm, hope in the middle of the storm. You know, we may not be able to control everything happening around us, but we can control how we respond, how we treat people, what we believe, and whether we continue moving forward, continue growing, right? Let's be honest. There are, I'm sorry, these are interesting times. You turn on the television, you get on social media, you look at the economy, relationships, families, communities, and sometimes it feels like everything is changing all at once. You know, so how do we keep hope in a world that doesn't always give us a reason to, right? Always um, trying to find a way to push through. Um, some of us are dealing with things nobody knows about. We show up to work with a smile on our face. We take care of our families. Behind the smile, we're trying to figure out some things for ourselves, right? And so you say, RJ, you just talking on the mic. And I told you before when I first started this is not to teach at you, this is not to preach at you. This is a conversation. And for 56 years, I've seen some things, I've done some things, and there are some times and things I thought I wouldn't get through. Things that I thought would shake me and break me to the core. But we all will have something. It's never going to be a question of if, it's just a question of when. Because sometimes it just seems like the old folks say, it get it get worse before it gets better, right? And it goes from one thing to another thing, and you just like it's just one thing after another. We all, we all have something that we're gonna have to deal with or we dealt with. And there are times I look back and I'll be like the old church hymn, man, I wonder how I got over. I wonder how I got over. And I know there is something greater than me, right? Yeah, there's something greater than me. However, I have a responsibility too, right? To keep pressing, keep moving, keep growing. You know, and I know that we see in these times that uh, relationships and divorces are becoming more physical, more violent, more. It used to be said, we can't get together because we just can't be different. But now it's become a very real emotional process, and it may have been like that before, but because of social media news, we're getting the information faster. Um, but just relationship breakups are getting tense at the end of it. Uh, Families fighting over um, money when someone passed away, or what was in the will, what was in the trust, our economy, our gas. The world just seems like it's all falling apart, and we're living in it. So we call that uncertain times. But hope in the middle of the storm is not something that we just pretend like it didn't happen, or it is not going on, or there is no real situation. You know, it's trying to find a place. Maybe your life doesn't look the way you thought it should be, especially at this point. Maybe you're starting over. I always talk about that it's going to happen somewhere, right? Maybe you're rebuilding. Maybe you're trying to find yourself again. So there can be uncertainty, hope in the middle of the storm. As I said earlier, that it's just everything's happening around us. It seems like people on the road are getting angrier, or at the gas station, at the grocery store. We've been placed in this ball of just anxiety, frustration, uncertainty. But we have to have hope. We have to believe that there is something better. And I don't know what you're facing when you turn this podcast off, this conversation. I don't know what you're carrying, but I want you to remember something. You're still here. And as long as you're still here, there's an opportunity for something to change. I continuously say that as of today, probably 760, 70 days of the year, you have survived all your problems, all your situations. It may have not been pretty, may have not been ugly. Um, Somebody told me the other day, someone told me the other day, man, Robert, it seemed like you know what it's like to get it out the mud or to be in the trenches. Now, I don't look like what I've been through, but there must have been something on me uh, for them to say that. It's almost like, when the police search a car, they're looking for drugs, and they don't actually find the drugs. They find what is called residue. So there may be some residue on me. There got to be some residue on you that someone can hang their hat on. Someone can look at to find strength in, that they can move on. And I know it's hard sometimes, right? I think in Proverbs somewhere it says, if you help somebody while you're needing help, I'm paraphrasing, need help, you will be prosperous, right? So in this time of uncertainty, not just us, but let's find a way to help others, right? I always tell people, you got problems, right? And if it was a rural, like rural big swimming pool, and you throw your problems in that pool, right? And then you go back to try and grab your problems out that pool, and it's somebody else's set of problems. It's somebody else's set of situations. You look and be like, "Oh no, let me get mine back. I don't want these, right?" Because we're all dealing with something. And in these times where it seems, and it may be real to us, right? To some of us, it seems like there is no way out. There is no path to leaving this situation. We have to hold on to hope. We got to keep believing, keep showing up, keep moving forward, put one foot in front of the other, you know, um, because uncertainty and things do happen. I think I remember I remember um, I was playing college football, and I was doing my thing, y'all. I was doing my thing, and I came across the middle and I got hit. Man, it hurt. That hurt. And normally you bounce back from big hits. You normally get up, go back to the huddle, but I couldn't get up. Man, I messed my shoulder up, and I was hurt. I want to say devastated. I was hurt because that means I could no longer play in this game or the next couple of games after they did an assessment on me. And it was uncertainty. You want to be in there with your team. You want to go to battle. But you had to sit it out. And it was uncertainty because I didn't know how long I was going to be out, um, what was going to happen. Wanted to finish the year, but it was uncertainty. Um, having a child at a young age, uncertain, not sure what that was. Getting divorced and starting over, uncertainty. I had to rebuild my whole life. The kids again say I had to rebrand myself, but I had to hold on to hope. I had to keep moving forward because for me, doing that, rebuilding, rebranding, getting better, there are now more people depending on me than ever before, whether it be my job, family, friends, me standing between you and this microphone to tell you that everything will be okay, offering you words of encouragement. That's a responsibility that I don't take lightly. But I'm sorry, however, none of this would have been possible had I not gone through what I've been through. And I didn't go through it perfectly. It was, hey man, how you figure a problem out? It's not easy math. It's walking the journey of uncertainty, not sure where things are going. So we have to keep moving, keep believing, you know, and it does not mean seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Sometimes hope is simply just believing that there's a reason to keep walking, right? You know, hey man, I can see the breakthrough. I can see the breakthrough, and something else comes along. And we all get to that point. You know, Um, I used to love practice. I used to love practice because it was, you know, I wanted to get better. I wanted to be a quarterback all my life. So I worked. I worked. I may have not had the skills, so I developed the skills. There's some people that are naturally talented um, than most. So most of us have to develop our skills. And again, I always tell you, I was very fortunate from the age of 8 to 23. Excuse me, to play with some amazing people, basketball and football wise, high school through college. So I had developed my skills in practice. But there was a time in practice when one of our coaches, he didn't like the way the practice was going. He used to always say, "Don't make me turn my hat around." And when he turned his hat around, rest in peace, Coach Jim, great coach. He turned his hat around, and it was crazy. I mean, we are about to feel the wrath, and we used to just go through all these drills, and you would just like be saying, "I wish this was over. I wish this would be over." You know, it was some trying times. It was some trying times, but it made us better. And to this day, we still joke about it, right? But at that time, we couldn't joke about that, man. That was serious. We'd go in that locker room and curse and like normal 17, 16, 17-year-olds go in there and curse and not knowing that one, we weren't doing our best, and two, it was gonna make us better. So um there will be some trying times. It does feel like uncertain times. It does feel like there is no path forward. But some of us have been here before and we overcame. And I'm certain that together we will overcome again. So it may not seem like there is light at the end of the tunnel. Sometimes it's just simply believing, even in these uncertain times. But long as you're here, long as you are breathing, there is an opportunity for change for all of us. And not only me and you, but we can now encourage others who are going through or feeling these anxieties. Um, so this week, I encourage you to be more kinder, be more understanding, to be more patient, because we never know what someone else is going through. We just had someone walk across I-75 early this week. We don't know the cause. We don't know the person, reason, but all of us at sometimes feel like we're at our wits' end. But you're here today. There's always another opportunity. Hold on to hope. And as my, not as my, one of the guys I follow on Instagram, Gary Chambers Jr. out of Louisiana, always says, do good, seek justice, love others, hold on to hope. It's your boy RJ the quarterback. I'll catch you next time.